Hey, this is Andrew Bocher with GY6 Vids. We have the Springfield Hellcat. Get into it. So first and foremost, the gun is empty, mag is empty, chamber is clear. That way through the rest of this video, you'll know that all the safety precautions are taken. We have no ammunition around the gun, nor will we have it anywhere near the gun during this process of the video. Please keep in mind that in a lot of situations, one man's trash is another man's treasure, and another man's treasure is another man's trash. It really depends upon the shooter. I may love this gun, I may like it a lot on the range, I may shoot the heck out of this thing and be like, this is my favorite concealed pistol, but it may not be yours. The biggest thing is go out, try guns yourself. Yes, look at videos. Yes, do some research. Yes, find out what's reliable, what's not. But don't take one person's word for it and go spend $500-600 on a gun and go, man, it's not really what I wanted. Go out to your local range, test out a gun for yourself, get your hands around a couple of them and find out what you're most comfortable with. The gun you're most comfortable with is the gun you're going to carry more often, which means it's more of a gun for you. So keep that in mind. These are reviews to give you information, not to tell you exactly what you need. Out of the box, it does come with a flush mag, which is 11+1 with overall capacity, but with their extended mag that does come with the gun, it's not an aftermarket buy, it's 13+1. So you're getting 14 rounds total or 12 rounds total, depending upon if you go with the flush mag or the extended mag you see here. It's a very nice thing to have coming out of the box with this firearm because for people like myself with big mitts, it makes it a lot easier to get a purchase around the gun and not have the lower part of your hand falling off. It makes it feel very comfortable, very familiar, and makes you want to get your hands around this gun and start ripping off rounds pretty damn quick. Now the slide release and the mag release are not ambidextrous, but they are reversible for the mag release. So you can take the mag release, reverse that, put it on the opposite side if you're a left-handed shooter. I personally am an ambidextrous shooter, which means I can change either shooting left-handed or shooting right-handed. I'm pretty proficient with both. Now Springfield is definitely going after the P365. You can see the overall dimensions of this and the overall look of this is very, very similar. Now you do have the front serrations of this gun. They're not very deep, they're not really aggressive, but they do give you a nice little purchase of it if you wanted to do press checking on this gun. It's not something I absolutely need on a firearm personally, but if you are looking for a gun with front serrations, having that up there is very nice, especially if your hands are a little bit slippy. I do like the fact that this gun is sleek. There's not a ton of engraving on it. There's not a ton of pomp and circumstance. They do have good texturing not only on the grip, but also where the front parts of the gun, where your thumb goes and your index finger goes. It gives you a nice finger placement for when your finger is straight or your thumb placement on the opposite side when you're gripping the gun. It does give you a little extra texture and it does give you a little extra purchase on the firearm, especially being a micro pistol. Now talking about the texturing of this firearm, Springfield sells it as a new press technology where it's activated when you grip the gun. When you're just touching it, it's super smooth, and when you grip it, it pushes your hand and the meat of your hand into the overall more aggressive parts of the texturing to give you more grip on the gun. You know, I think it's kind of more of a selling you snake oil type situation. Nice one though, Springfield. I think it's a good way of selling your firearm, but I don't think there's much to it other than the fact that it's a comfortable, well done texturing. I do like it a lot. It's very smooth against your skin. When you have a concealed carry situation, a lot of the guns, especially older of the, say, XDS 9mm Springfield, that thing is ridiculously aggressive. And when you have that against your skin all day long going like this, it is insanely aggressive and not very comfortable. So to have this upgrade is huge for their texturing. I do like the way they've put it on the gun, with stippling being one of those things that have taken the industry by storm when it comes to putting textures on frames of guns. Having a good texture out of the box from Springfield with this Hellcat is a huge plus. But moving towards the trigger aspect of this firearm, you can tell that the trigger guard itself is a little bit enlarged. Not as much as the 365 is, but it does give you a good amount of room to get bigger fingers in there. Very ergonomic, and on the back side, you can tell there's a little bit of an undercut that allows you to get a better purchase on the gun. Now with the flush magazine, which you see here, you're gonna get obviously a whole lot less surface area and a whole lot less extension. And so your fingers, if you have bigger hands like myself, your pinky's gonna fall off that bottom and it's gonna be a little cumbersome, but you can still get a good purchase on the gun. It doesn't feel completely micro, but it does feel a lot smaller without that extension. But let's quickly give just a hallelujah in the fact that there's not a freaking grip zone. Thank God. And on the backside, there is no grip safety, which I absolutely can't stand. A lot of people don't mind it. A lot of people don't care whether you have it or don't have it. I personally do not like extra moving parts that don't need to be there. Just something you can get more grime and dirt and issues going on with your firearm that don't need to be there. Extended mag back in the gun. Moving up the grip. I love the beaver tail on this. I like the ergonomics of it. It makes it feel like you really want to get your hand high up on the gun instantaneously. It gives you a nice low bore axis from the webbing of your hand to the barrel of the gun itself, but gives you enough protection so when that slide comes back, it's not giving you a little bit of slide bite, which is nice. So like I said before, gun is clear, mag is empty, gun is empty, nothing's in the chamber. Let's talk about this trigger. Obviously, you can see that there's a little trigger safety bar like most firearms have nowadays. Without that depressed, the gun cannot go off. A lot of triggers have a little bit more of a sway in it. This gun is pretty damn straight. There is a little bit of a sway at the very end of it, a little bit of a so it's not completely straight, but it is fairly straight compared to most triggers, and it's at a good angle. So for bigger fingers like myself, I personally like a straight trigger. This also has a nice clean break to it. Do I think it's super, super light? No. Do I think it's pretty much on par with most concealed weapons? Yes. So right away, when you put your finger on this trigger, you can tell there's a little bit of take up, as you see right there. And once it has that take up removed, you have a little bit of extra pressure you put onto it. Nice solid break. There is no over travel too. I like that a lot about this trigger. Some guns, when the trigger breaks, there's over travel. The trigger still continues to move a little bit, and that'll throw you off because the bullet is still technically moving down that barrel, even in the slightest amount when your gun moves a little bit more. So once again, that reset and that break is very smooth. Yeah, I like it. This trigger is very different than the SIG 365. I thought they'd be very similar. They're not. Different finger placement, different overall angle and look of the trigger itself. This one's flat, the 365 is curved, but also when the 365 is depressed, there's a little bit of sponginess to it, but when the gun breaks, it's a very muddled like thud. It's, unless you've experienced it yourself, it's hard to explain, but it's like a doof. I didn't bring a trigger gauge with me today, so I don't know the exact poundage, but if I were to guess, it's probably right around that 5.5 pound mark. Very similar to most compact concealed pistols on the market. Now moving up into the slide of the Hellcat, it's a very clean looking firearm. I'm loving the look of it. The engraving of the Springfield logo, the Hellcat logo, and then Springfield on the side, and the serial number itself aren't overly aggressive. They're not so apparent where you're like, man, it looks like it's tagged like a NASCAR. Now clearly you're gonna notice the big elephant in the room. Since second one of this video, this gun has a red dot on it. Now this is the OSP version of the Hellcat. The Hellcat itself comes in two different versions, the standard version, which has no cutout, and then the OSP version, which has a cutout. You can also take this red dot off and put a plate that comes with the gun back on this if you don't want it, but to have it is nice. And between the OSP and the standard version, it's only $30 more. So a lot of cutouts that a lot of aftermarket companies will charge you are in the 150 plus range to cut out a little red dot section of your slide. So to have it already on your gun and you have a plate you can replace that with, for only $30 extra from MSRP, that's huge. Now the red dot on top of this gun is the Shield RMSC. Cool little red dot. It definitely looks good on this gun. I personally am not a red dot pistol fan. I'm not one to have red dots on my pistols very often. I personally like to train with iron sights because it's what usually is on a gun and it's the most reliable. I don't have to worry about batteries dying or something breaking, and now what I've been training with isn't the same thing, and I'm shooting off from what I usually would be with iron sights. Moving on to the iron sights of this pistol, I was extremely impressed of how high quality iron sights you're getting with this gun out of the box. In the rear, you have a very unique U-shape iron sight, and that allows for a better instant target acquisition with your front sight. When you're pulling up on target for concealed carry and defense, you want to acquire that front sight as fast as possible to get a good accurate shot. And with the backside of the iron sights, you have that U-shape or that bucket look. Your front sight falls into that U and your body instantly realizes you're on target and you can pull that trigger. It's a very unique feeling compared to doing a regular 2-dot rear, 1-dot front sight like you're used to on most iron sights. But it's very easy to acquire, and with the front sight, you're getting tritium on top of a day glow sight. So you're gonna be able to see that front sight very easily in the daylight, and when it's dark, that front sight's gonna glow. So you're gonna be able to acquire that front sight even when it's pitch dark. From the top of the iron sights to the base of a flush magazine in the gun, you're looking at 4 inches. With the extended magazine, you're looking at 4.5 inches. The overall width of the gun here is 1 inch in overall width, The overall length of the gun from the front of the barrel to the back of the beaver tail is 6 inches. So that right there is 6 inches. Now, the weight of the gun is 18.6 ounces. So very similar in overall weight for most compact concealed pistols on today's market. Maybe a little bit more than some and a little bit less than others, but overall right in that ballpark. Now, that's not including the red dot or any ammunition in the gun. So this obviously most resembles the 365, but I'm gonna show you right now a little comparison between the Shield 9mm and also the Glock 43 in overall dimensions. That way you guys have a better understanding about what the overall dimensions of this gun actually look like if you have a Glock 43 or a Shield or an XDS for that matter. You can see the comparison side by side of each of these guns to this Hellcat. So you're getting a very similar standard size of a concealed carry pistol, but you're getting so much more capacity out of this gun compared to most in the market. You do have a single notch rail up front that you can put lights and lasers on. I personally am not a fan of it. I'll never put a light or a laser on a compact pistol. I just don't like the extra bulk, extra weight. It's defeating the purpose of carrying a small gun, in my opinion. But if you want to do that, it is there. Let's talk about one last thing about this pistol before we move on, and that is the standoff device. The standoff device on this gun that comes standard with this pistol is a huge factor. A lot of people don't think about it, a lot of people don't talk about it, but once again, this gun is clear, there's no ammunition in the gun. When you push a gun against something, if you don't have a standoff device, when you push against the slide itself, most pistols will come out of battery by shifting slightly rearward, which means the gun can't go off. When you push this against your hand, it will still go off because of that standoff device on the front of that dual captive spring inside the gun. Let's load up the flush mag first. This holds 11 and then +1 in the gun. We're just gonna do 11 straight. We're not gonna chamber around. Let's see how the mag feels by loading it and also discuss it as we're shooting. I'm gonna be plinking at these two targets at 7 yards away, so 21 feet. And then we have a smaller steel target behind that at about 15 yards. And then the bigger steel target down at the far end about 30 yards, so 90 feet. Just taking some shots on the gun range, having some fun. Want you guys here with me and tell you the things I find with this gun as I'm shooting it. 2 fingers, then my whole pinky and lower half of my hand is falling off as I grip this properly. Also, my thumb rides that slide quite a bit, so in the last round, I doubt that it'll actually hold open. Got the regular iron sights. I took the red dot off. I want to make sure to test the gun as is and not depend upon an aftermarket product. I do like the U-notch rear sight, and it does make it easy to acquire that front yellow and tritium front sight. But the difference between a 3-dot sight and a U-shaped rear sight is the fact when you quickly acquire that front sight, yeah, you're gonna get a decent pattern on target real quick for self-defense, which is what you're using this gun for. But if you're looking for accuracy, I personally like having 2 dots in the back because you line all 3 of them up and you get better pinpoint accuracy at that point, in my opinion. Once again, you're gonna see my videos start to kind of change a little bit when it comes to reviewing a product. Guns themselves are so vast, there's so many of them on the market, and there's so many of each type of gun being made that for a reviewer to say their one gun they got that had a hiccup or had an issue to completely throw the baby out with the bathwater and completely crap on a gun company isn't something I want to do for the foreseeable future. I want to test the gun that I have, talk about what I feel is good and bad about the gun, in my opinion, give you the details of what it is straight up, and let you guys make your mind up. I don't want to force my opinion or a potential issue with one of the guns out of the thousands and thousands that are made to say that a gun is bad or good. You got to get your hands on guns, you got to go out and shoot and become a tester yourself as well. I just don't want to put myself in a particular place of prestige saying that because my opinion is one way or another, it makes the gun good or bad. It doesn't. It just means I'm giving you my opinion and let you guys make up your mind of what you think of it so you can go test it yourself before you buy it. We need to band together more as gun lovers and gun supporters and 2A supporters rather than nitpicking over all the little, this trigger has just a little bit of grit, so it's therefore crap. just pompous to think that way, to think that your one opinion dictates everyone else. I gotta get off my soapbox. I can talk about this forever, and it's probably for another video, but my review is gonna be based on my opinion about the gun that I got in hand. This could be one of the best versions of the Hellcat, and I think it's phenomenal. And then you guys go buy one and find out that you have weird primer drag, weird firing pin issues, trigger problems, loading problems, failures to extract, failures to feed. You may have a ton of different things that I can't find because I don't have that particular gun you bought. So it depends upon all of us as a community to really band together and push out information. And it's never been easier nowadays with cell phones and social media. So I don't want to be pompous and think my one review is the end all be all, but I'm gonna tell you what I find in the guns I test and give you my opinion, which is what it really is. It's not the end all be all of anything, guys. We all just like to shoot. Let's have some fun and see what this Hellcat has in store. So no red dot, strictly iron sights. Let's shoot at the right target first, see if we can get a nice tight grouping on that center red square, see where I line up with these unique U-shaped iron sights. All right, right side first. Okay, so just high and left corner of that center red square. Let's go one more. Ooh, so I'm pulling high and left. Okay. So I can instantly tell by putting the dot in the center of the U, right in that U notch, that I'm hitting high and left naturally. I'm guessing, yep. So if I aimed a little bit low and right, and it went stacked on that first shot that was over the red square. So I'm not sure if I like this unique U-shaped iron sight for pinpoint accuracy, but you definitely acquire that front iron sight a lot faster than normal. It's just you're not able to really line up a pinpoint shot like you can with 3 dots. So you see if I can adjust. I think I'm naturally just hitting high and left. There you go, that's a little bit better. A little bit better. Yeah, see, I can already tell that with the iron sights, with that U-shape, I'm naturally shooting left. The ammunition I'm using is standard FMJ 115 grain 9mm ammunition, standard loads, and 13, a little bit more resistance, but 13 rounds go into the mag quite easily. I thought that'd be a little bit more tough, but it's not. Okay, mag in the gun. Let's aim for the lowermost point of that bottom straight red line. See where the groups line up with the extension mag. As you can tell, I have a lot more purchase on the gun, a lot more control over the firearm. It feels much more comfortable, so see if it changes the point of impact. I doubt that it will, though. Yeah, see, still left. Yeah, that's low. So on that group, rather than having the front sight in the middle, slightly high of that U shape, I put it lower, and that still brought my group low. So I think the issue is I'm just naturally hitting left, and I gotta find the right place to put that front sight in that U notch. Not too low, not too high, so maybe right in between. I'll try to find that sweet spot, but from what I'm seeing and what's showing up on the board, I'm definitely hitting left. And the groups aren't bad, especially picking up the pace, but they're hitting left of where I want to hit, and then it's just a matter of finding that sweet spot with the front and rear iron sights. Once again, I could use that red dot right now and be a lot more accurate with this gun, but that's an aftermarket product. It's not the actual gun. The red dot that I have with this, that Springfield sent out, obviously Springfield sent these out to a ton of different quote influencers, like damn near everybody. They were just like, you get a gun and you get a gun and you get a gun, like the Oprah Winfrey of gun give outs. I saw everyone that I know of that does any type of quote influencing, even on Instagram and Facebook, they were just getting guns. So they sent these out with this cool case and a safe and a red dot attached to it. That's a $300 or $400 red dot. All the bells and whistles. It's just all fluff. This is the gun you're gonna buy. This is the gun I'm reviewing. I wanna stick to that point. It's very nice of Springfield to give out guns, but it doesn't change my opinion, and it doesn't change the facts of what this gun does when it's on the range and the details about how it feels. I love the way it shoots smooth. That trigger is quite nice. You feel that reset very easily, and you also feel that nice clean break to have trigger control for follow-up shots. All right, load it up. Let's go from close steel to far steel, see where we impact. Okay, so you can even see on that steel, I'm hitting high and left. I might have to use my iron sight adjusters at my house and just bump this front sight a little bit to the left. That way it pulls my grouping back to the right. I bet I just got to aim bottom right of that steel target and I'll hit it. And even then you can see I'm hitting far left on that target. It just shows you that that slight left impact point at 21 feet gets so magnified when you're at 90 feet. Let's see if I can aim at that 4 o'clock position off target, damn near in the dirt, and see where I impact now. Yeah. Yep. So you can see once I readjust my holdover point and do a Kentucky windage holdover, I start impacting, but it's still really wanting to pull left. It just feels so wonky to aim so far off target. As far as target sights, I don't really like these as a target sight for precision accuracy. Even though this gun is not made for it, I'm not trying to dog on a concealment gun. It depends on what you're gonna use it for. So let's throw a new sticky on the right target and go back and forth from left and right, right and left in a defensive shooting situation and see how it feels. All right, I don't have a buzzer, but beep. So there you go. It's a little, riding that slide release yet again. It does lock back. I've tried it just holding it like this and it does lock back. But you can see the group. This group, I'm a little, there's 2 flyers right here. But for the most part, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Not bad for just quick target acquisition. I'm in the B zone on the left target. It's not exactly as accurate as I'd want, but with practice, I can definitely see how this iron sight system will be a lot easier for quick target acquisition. In a defense situation, it's probably gonna be better, but I just personally like to stick with traditional 3-dot iron sights. That way it's across the board when you go from one concealed carry to another. 13. Yeah, actually fairly easy. A little resistance on that 13, but for the most part, you're looking at a fairly easy fresh mag. All right, 13 more rounds. Let's try it one more time. And beep. Yeah, definitely getting the feel for this trigger. Like I said, this is only the first couple mags I've ever shot out of this gun. That's definitely getting a lot better, and so is that target. I think with practice, this is going to be a very easy defensive pistol. The accuracy coming off these iron sights could be just my gun. So that's my point, once again, of not throwing the baby out with the bathwater saying, oh, all the Hellcats are so inaccurate, they hit high and left. Let's put the red dot on here and see how the accuracy improves and what it feels like. I'm not a big fan of using red dots on a concealment pistol. Just another snagging point, another thing to go wrong, another thing to fail. But, you know, we do have the OSP version, so might as well mount an optic. We got 5 sticky targets in this one. We'll do pinpoint accuracy with the red dot and see how that impacts. Yeah, that's better. Yeah, so all 5 sticky targets got impacted right where they need to be impacted. Slightly low, slightly high, just a little bit of shift, but that's all human element. That tells me right away that the iron sights are kicked over. I'm not used to using a red dot. I feel like I have to find that red dot again before I can pull the trigger. With the iron sights, I feel like I can just get on it and boom, 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 boom. So see if I can do a decent group. So while I'm loading up this mag, I will state this gun is super fun to shoot. It's comfortable. It's very easy to figure out where that trigger reset is and where that brake is, and you get used to it fairly quickly. And I can see myself getting more proficient with it very quickly as I practice with it. The mag loaded up. Let's rip off this whole mag in that right target. Yeah, it's so weird. I don't naturally find a red dot very easily. Yep, I keep riding that slide release. But yeah, the group's decent. I like it. I had one flyer high right. Really weird trying to find that red dot. I'm not a big fan of red dots though, so I can't blame the gun. I gotta blame the fact that I just suck with red dots on a pistol. It's a real weird feeling going from iron sights to red dots, so that's on me. But as far as the iron sight accuracy goes, that's on Springfield. Out of the box from the company, it is slightly off. So we'll see if that's consistent with other people reviewing it and shooting it. I'm very interested to see what you guys do with the pistol as well. Comment in the comment section, let me know. Maybe you'll get one and start shooting slightly left and high as well, and maybe it's a consistent thing that's happening with the pistols that Springfield needs to know about. That's what the community's for. We all start banding together with information and really come up with a true maybe mistake on a pistol, rather than just a one-off pistol having an issue and going, oh God, throw this baby out with the bathwater. No, it just doesn't make sense. And that's another reason why I'm not gonna be doing dirt testing and grime testing and tossing a pistol testing, because this one pistol that performs well in dirt, another pistol couldn't. It depends upon, like, if I push or press or dump or pour dirt into this gun and that one pour happens to not get in that one spot it shouldn't, and the gun still performs, but 6 different tests down the road, if I were to do it again and again and again, eventually some of that dirt might get in the wrong spot and cause it to fail in that test. It doesn't mean all the pistols will fail. I hope that makes sense to you guys. I hope you see why I'm going to try to be more just showing you my opinion on the gun. I think this gun, in my opinion, is pretty damn solid. I think it's phenomenal for out of the box shooting. I have not oiled this, haven't done anything to it. No failures to feed, no failures to extract. Trigger is smooth. The grip texture on the gun feels comfortable. The ergonomics feel comfortable. Take that as you will. This is Andrew Bocher with GY6 Vids. This has been the Springfield Hellcat. Hope you got some information from it. Let me know other ideas you may have to spice up videos down the road that don't bore you to death, but also keep you informed while being entertained. I'll see you guys soon. Later. And this portion of the video is brought to you by shooting a lot of ammo. Trying to figure out if this will ever jam so I can add it in the video. If it does jam, you'll know. If it doesn't jam, you'll just see me shooting a bunch of rounds. So far I'm about 20 to 25 magazines worth of ammo. Not a single jam, not a single malfunction. Da, 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 da. Magazines do shoot completely free out of this gun, which is nice. You just gotta be careful with the flush mag that your fat fingers and fat palm doesn't block the release. But for the most part, they launch out of there quite nicely. Not as much as I've seen in some other guns, but it is shooting out. It's not sticking in there. That's what I like about steel mags. Let's see. Let's see if it slide catches back. Yep. It's my fat fingers. Are you guys still watching? Are any of you still watching the video? Doubtful, but you never know. I gotta do my due diligence and shoot as many rounds as I can out of this thing. Probably like, I think I only have like 8 rounds in that mag. Still going strong. Beautiful sunset. Moon's out. Coyotes are hollering. I'm happy. And I'm happy this gun is not jamming. It's performing the way it should. Mag in. Woo! Empty mag, mag out. Mag in. Yep. Oh, nope. Once again, I'm hitting that slide release. So the extended magazine on this gun, once inserted, is very loose. It's very wobbly. It shifts around in your hand a little bit. I don't think it's going to be something that's going to cause a malfunction, but as far as ergonomics, it is kind of annoying. About 44 mags through this gun. Not a single failure to extract, failure to feed, no hang-ups whatsoever, no light primer strikes. I'm telling you, out of the box, it's slinging the brass right where it needs to be as well, so the extraction is consistent. I like it. And that's how I'm going to keep my reviews from now on. Not the end-all be-all review, but definitely give you some information. Later, guys.